that so I was actually talking about the decimal point. So the decimal point is actually different from every other numbers. Why? Is because the decimal point is a fraction. Okay, it's a fraction of a number. So how can we then now code it in such a way that it takes this fraction, the real place of decimal points rather, reflect on these numbers when during your calculations? That is what we're going to do. So right now, just double click on your decimal and take in this code. Okay, so we're going to say if not what, textbox 1 dot text dot contains open brackets in your quotation mark dot close quotation, close your bracket and close the outside bracket. Then what happens? Textbox 1 dot textbox 1 dot text should add, which is plus, should add or equals to open bracket and close bracket. That's it. So save. Okay, so now let's see if it's going to work. Let's run our program to test it if it's going to work. Ensure each time you type a code, check if it's working, so you won't end up typing a bunch of codes and you'll find so many errors. So I'm going to say 1.2.3.4.5.6. So it's actually working. It's working. Now let's move on. Now I'm going to work on our backspace. Sorry, I just have to take down the music. I know you have been enjoying it, but let's get down to serious business so we can round up on time. Okay, so now let's take this off. Let's code the backspace for it to operate exactly how we want it. So we're going to say if textbox 1.text length, that's the length of the length of what is in textbox 1. So we're taking the length. If the length is less than 0, if the length is less than 0, then textbox 1.text dot remove. So it's going to remove what value, how many values. This is where we declare what is going to remove. It's going to remove inside textbox, inside text. Sorry, I placed my cap. I turn on my cap lock. Inside text box 1 dot text dot length, it should subtract one value, comma, leave the others value. So it's going to subtract one value from 1. Okay, so let's see how it's going to operate now. Let's see how it's going to operate. So let's run our program. Let's say 1 4 5 5 6 5 dot 9 6 blah blah. So now let's try this. Sorry, I think I've seen my errors. So actually this is supposed to be textbox 1.text equal to textbox 1 dot remove. So this is it. Textbox text, this variable we take in what text box 1 dot, this is the function of what should happen. So text 1 dot text call up remove, which is a reserved word for removing items. Then text box 1 dot the length subtract by 1 value, and so now let's see if it's gonna work. Let's see if it's gonna work. So I'm gonna debug now to see if it's gonna work. So 1 2 3 dot 0 9. Let's see. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's fine. It's working now. It's working. It's working. So you can just go ahead and save your work. So that's how a programmer do. You just have to look through your codes. Thank God it worked anyway. Now the next thing I'm going to do is going to coming back to my design to work on the equal to sign. Then from the equal to sign we have to deal with all this. But anyway, before then, let's work on the cancel. So cancel is very simple. Just say text box 1 dot text equals to empty quotation mark. Okay, so this means that anything you type, you clear it off with this. So let's try it. Let's try it. So let's once. Can you see it? Good. Okay. Let's assume, let's make it 0. Let's say what happens. So let's see. Let's take it down to 0. Da da da. Zoom, 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 zoom. 0. So let's leave it at 0. It looks more unique. Okay, now let's move on to the next thing, which is the equal to. This is where the work comes in. This is where you need to program all the functions you'll be needing. So now here are the codes. Okay. So we say the codes if remember the declaration operators, if operator underscore selector rather, if under operator underscore select equal true, remember when we declare it as false. So if it's equal true, then this should happen. If it's equal to, then this should happen. Second number equal to text box 1 dot text. So it says that if the operator dot underscore selector, which we made false, is true, then second number should occur, which will be then the next number, which will be typed into text box 1 dot text. So now here is where we call up the function. We will now say if operations equal to 1, I will explain something here. Then if it's equals to 1, then what should happen? We will say text box 1 dot text equal to first number plus second number. Now what this means is that, sorry, I didn't spell the second well. It's supposed to be second number, so I have it as second number. So what this means is that anytime the operator recognize anything, any value that give us 1, like it should add. So meaning that for add, the value operator value is 1. For add, operator value is 1. So that's just a code factor. Then we'll say else if operations equal to 2. Else if operations equals to 2. Then we will now say if it's equals to 2, what should happen? Text box, sorry, so text box 1.text will equal to first number minus second number. So this means that anywhere you see 2, it means subtract second number from first number. So we'll say else if operator, if operations equals to 3, then text box 1.text will equal to first number. I'm making this mistake. First number minus first number times second number. Okay, so we'll now say else if operations equal to 0. If it's equal to 0, what should happen? So now the first one says if the operations is 1, that means it should add. If the operations is 2, it recognizes to do what? Subtract. If the operation is 3, it should multiply. Then if the operation is 0, then what should happen? We'll say text box what did I put? Text box 1 dot that's comma dot text. If it's 0, text box 1 dot text equal to display error, equal to display error. Then else equals to display error. Else what should happen? Text box 1 dot text, sorry, it's taking a bit of time, it's part of it. 1 dot text equal to first number divided by second number. First number divided by second number. So we're just going to end it here. Now because of this second if, we're going to come here and close this by saying operators underscore selector equals to false. Oh shit, false. Okay, so now let's try to see something, but before then we need to we need to now code each of those operators. Okay, before we can work on it, we need to code each of those operators, the 4 of it here. So let's start with plus. Remember, don't forget what I said the other time. So let's start with plus. So code for plus says that first number equal to text box 1 dot text box 1 dot text. Then we'll say text box 1 dot text equal to empty cell. Then we'll say operator selector equals to true. Then operations equal to 1. Now remember when we were working on the equal to sign, you see anytime we have 1 it means to add. So here is now saying that this is the value for add, that first number equals to text box 1 dot text, then text box 1 dot text, we take that value into an empty anything you type into it is what goes to first number. Then operator, when is activated anytime it says true, it is activated. Then when it sees the operations as 1, it means you are adding another value to first number. So let's try something. Let's test it to see. Let's say 1 plus, you see, is empty to take the second number 2. If you equal 3. Now let's do something. Let's assume I put in between here, I put 0. Let's see what happens now if I run it. If I say 1 plus, you see it became 0, 2. If I place my equal to, give me 3. So for we to have something unique, let's just make it 0, or we can even type second number. So let's say second number. Let's say second number. See it. So say 1 second number 2, but that's wrong. You see it's adding to it. So let's just leave it as empty cell. Okay, so this is perfect. So let's quickly do this as well. Let's copy all this and do it for other signs there. So I'm going to do it for subtraction. Subtraction is actually 2. Don't make a mistake that. So subtraction is 2. So I'm going to just change this value 1 to 2. Then I'm going to change this value to 3. Then I'm going to change this last value to 4. Changes to 4. And now you'll be wondering why there was no 4 in my previous I'll explain to you. Now the code here says that if operator is 0, then it should display what? Error. Okay, so meaning that this last one, which is 0, which is 4, so if it's 0, then meaning that it should take the next value 4 and which 4 stands for division. Okay, that is it here, else division. So now let's try value here. Let me see. Something is adding one value to it, so I need to be sure. Okay, hello. Okay, a little adjustment. I've been able to get the errors here. So a little adjustment here to this code is that um, if operator selector equals to true, then second number equals to text box 1.text. Now this is actually for the equal to sign. So this is the code you're going to use. If operations equals to 1, then you recognize text box 1 equals to first number plus second number. Remember, when it's 1, that's addition, so it adds the first number to the second number and give you your result on text box 1. Else, if operations is equals to 2, then it does what? It takes first number minus second number and display on your text box 1. Else, if operation equals to 3, then it takes first number times second number and store it and display it on text box 1.text. Else, if second number equals to 0, then text box 1.text equals to error. Now what this means is that, for instance, let's say 5 divided by 0, what happens? It displays error. So that's what it's saying there. Else, it takes the division sign comes to play. First number divided by second number will display your answer on text box 1. And if then operator selector, you bring it back to false to stop operation, and if and ends up. Now let's try our work to see how well it's working. Let's say 2 plus 3 equals to 5 minus 2 equals to 3 times 3 equals to 9 divided by 2. Let's see what it's going to give us. 4.5. Let's cancel. So it's perfectly working. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your patience. Thank you. So try as much as possible. If you have any issues, make sure you contact any of your mentors, reach out to them, and they'll get back to you. Thank you so much. Peradventure you have something to say, I would love you to drop a comment on the comment section and we'll respond to you. Thank you so much. Have a lovely time and a lovely coding experience. Bye.